So it's not just a matter of getting through. It's not just a matter of, hoping you can survive it and keep some semblance of what once existed. It's the recognition that the cycle of life requires creation and destruction.
Hello and welcome to the Remarkable CEO Podcast, a show dedicated to chiropractors who want to transform their job into a business so that they can have a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life, not instead of one. With your hosts, Dr. Pete Camiolo and Dr. Stephen Franson.
What's up, remarkable CEOs? We got a special treat for you guys here today. We've got Dr. Pat Gentempo, who's going to be bringing a very timely and relevant message around your stand is your brand. You're going to love this. What's up, remarkables? What's going on? Hey, I got a special treat for everybody here today. I know you recognize this guy, and I know he needs no introduction whatsoever, but I'd love to bring my good friend and one of my longtime mentors, Dr. Pat Gentempo, to you guys today. What's up, Dr. Pat?
Well, certainly there's a lot up right now, isn't there? But that's why we're here to have a conversation around it. First of all, thank you for having me. Secondly, I want to congratulate you. In the preamble, you were reviewing with me your event you just had, and this is what is making my heart sing right now is watching entrepreneurs, people who have responsibility, pivot in the face of what's going on and figuring out ways to still achieve what was on their agenda, even though there's a pandemic, there's the shutdowns, there's all the things going on. They figure it out. And to me, that's inspiring. And to me, it's not going to be the big companies that are going to shepherd us out of this mess. It's the small, scrappy, entrepreneurial people like chiropractors, like what you do, that are going to get this figured out and get us on the path out of this thing. So congratulations and thanks for having me.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, we've spent our whole lives studying wellness and teaching wellness and living wellness. And we know the definition of wellness is the ability to adapt readily and appropriately, right? So pivot is that word. It is that is the essence of adaptability, to adapt readily and appropriately to a stressor, especially one you didn't see coming. So credit goes to my team. Team's awesome. And to our group, our remarkables, the clients were amazing. Just the trust that they showed. And they were just like, yep, okay, that sounds great. Let's pivot. And hopefully they see that we're leading from the front on that. And I know that's exactly how you lead. So when I knew your book release was coming out, I'm like, Pat, this is so timely. We just released our Phoenix plan. We talked about this 3-stage sort of 3-month process, how to get us back on track into the next level in our practices in Q2 2020. It's a 3-phase program. The first is about stabilization, which of course means stabilize your business. The second phase is about reactivation, doubling back and getting those people that have been knocked out of the boat during this corona distraction. And then third phase, which is mobilization, which is let's get back to the marketplace and let's fill that knowledge gap, that information gap that the medical world and the media and the government have left behind, right? So, hey, we're talking about stabilization right now. Here we are. We're in the month of April. It's all about stabilizing your practice. And we talked about, it starts with the leadership. It starts with the DC, understanding what do they stand for? What's the value they bring to the marketplace so that they can convey that into their team, so that their team can convey that with certainty and clarity and confidence. So your stand is your brand, man. Let's talk about it. Let's have this conversation.
Well, let me just first start with the theme of the Phoenix, which is something that is, I think, the perfect theme. Back in 2008, when there was a downturn, and I was running CLA, and there was a very challenging time. We literally, the plan I put together was called Operation Phoenix, because the whole idea is that
great minds.
Yeah, it's just what, I especially having gone through several identity burn downs through my career and reinventing myself into some new purpose or vision, et cetera, that the Phoenix was always the model, the concept or the theme that was in mind. And, we talk about, so we'll start at the end, because in your stand is your brand, the last chapter, chapter 8, is about creative destruction. And the theme of it that I talk about is the phoenix, because, and this is, I think, the important thing to understand. It's not like, oh my God, we've had this horrific thing happen and somehow we have to rise out of the ashes. It is more than that. When the phoenix dips down and goes into the fire, it does so that something more beautiful emerges. So it's not just a matter of getting through. It's not just a matter of, hoping you can survive it and keep some semblance of what once existed. It's the recognition that the cycle of life requires creation and destruction, and that in that destruction, it's not we call it creative destruction, where it's not just saying, oh my God, I'm decimated and destroyed. It's saying that we are inviting ourselves to go down into the flames, to burn all the way down so that something new and, the most important thing, more beautiful emerges than what existed before. That's the whole theme of the phoenix. So I love the fact that you're utilizing the phoenix as the thematic aspect of what you're doing here, and it aligns perfectly with my own thinking and my own, quite frankly, my own spirituality. So that's great.
I think you and I are aligned in that we recognize the power and the value of the crucible, right? So when we look at the fire, right? So what does fire do? When fire is used, at its highest purpose, we use that energy to burn away the stuff that doesn't need to be there, right? So ultimately, I think this is going to play a big role in challenging chiros doctors to have that come to Jesus moment and do that introspection, do that unearthing of what do you stand for?
And listen, BJ said conflict clarifies, right? So, when you're in conflict, it's going to clarify a lot of things. And in the stabilization dimension of, this first phase of what you're outlining here, as far as the structure of the three phases of coming through this, when we talk about stabilization, the most stabilizing force there is, bar none, is taking a stand. It's the whole point. You're rooted in something. You're taking a stand. You're not taking a stand if you could be blown over easy. The whole point of taking a stand is that you're standing up and you're rooted deep, metaphorically speaking, deep into the ground. But in actuality, it's a spiritual rooting, meaning it's a philosophical rooting. It's an ethical decision that you're saying, I am standing for this, which also implies and or against this. And what I'm seeing in the chiropractic world right now, and I've been communing with a lot of chiropractors virtually, finding out what they're doing. And what I'm seeing is that, and this is such an extraordinary defining moment. This literally could be a watershed moment for our profession. I know for every single practice, it will be. And for the profession at large, it can and should be, because what's happening is there are chiropractors right now who are shut down. I mean, they just closed their offices and they're basically saying, I'm hoping I can apply for disaster relief and get through this and get back to life as it used to be. And let me just be very clear. Life is never going back to how it used to be. And that isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's actually, in my mind, it could be a very good thing. And if we had a lot of time, maybe I'll be back and I can talk more about how I see that. But secondly, there are the chiropractors who are showing up. What's the difference between the two? And this tells me everything I need to know. The chiropractors who are going to their office, because there's a gray area. Basically, what most of the fourth shutdown is saying, their non-essential businesses must close their doors. So the question for the chiropractor has become, do I look at myself as an essential business, or do I look at myself as a non-essential service? You see, the non-essential chiropractor is shutting their doors. They're saying, I do back pain, neck pain. It's not really essential right now. The essential chiropractor is taking a stand. And in many cases, I mean, they could face some adverse, regulatory action saying, hey, you're not supposed to be showing up now. They're taking a stand and saying, what I do is absolutely essential, especially right now. And then, of course, we can get into all the philosophical constructs on the fundamentals of chiropractic as to why we would draw that conclusion. But in the end, the conclusion is I'm essential. I'm taking a stand on it. And talking to ranges, the worst practice I know who's got that disposition, who's taking that stand, is maybe off 40%, 30 to 40 at the most.
Right.
Some of them are actually grown right now to higher heights. They actually are busier because they're taking the stand, they're opening their doors, and people are showing up. So that to me is the stabilizing force. Because you say stability is what we need right now. Well, how do you get stability? You take a stand. How do you take a stand? You go back to your philosophy and recognize what you believe, why you believe it, and then what you're going to do about it. That's where it comes from.
Okay, let's take a quick break and talk about Chiro Match Makers.
Chiro Match Makers will help you find the right person for the job. If you're looking to hire the ideal chiropractic assistant, Chiro Match Makers will help you find the specific person missing from your team so that you can get back to using your talents to serve more people. Or if you're looking to hire the ideal associate doctor, CMM can help. Chiro Match Makers helps chiropractors like you find the ideal associate doctor to unlock your practice potential and get you the freedom that you desire. To learn more, go to chiromatchmakers.com.
And now let's jump right back into our conversation.
So I love that we can go grassroots, like straight away. Like, so chiropractic's always been grassroots, right? So, at the end of the day, it always is just going to come down to the practitioner on the ground, right? But I think this is also a perfect opportunity for us to ask our leadership. Number one, where are you? Not only where are you at, where are you, right? Like, so right now, if I could be the voice for the man on the street right now, it's like, so many of our chiros are literally standing there going, okay, so am I alone in this? Will I get arrested? Are they going to drag me out of here? Like, I don't want to lose my license and lose my business. I got my family. And, it's unfortunate that, as it varies so much from state to state, I ask the leadership, this is my question to leadership right now. Where are you? Right. So where are you in all of this? Where's your voice? And where's your stand? Right. So help out the people that are looking to you for leadership. Maybe this is just a call for better leadership, right? So different leadership. But yeah.
Well, if I could comment on that.
Yeah, please.
So two things. Number one, Stephen, you are the leadership. Number two, I think you're referring to political leadership, and with all due respect, and when I say due respect, I'm not taking it means respect. It's calibrated based on what's due to you, and not you, but
exactly.
Political leader. But with all due respect, because I think some of these people are my friends and some aren't. But I'm starting to view, and you're looking at somebody who spent decades in the highest levels of the political so-called leadership in chiropractic. I've come to the conclusion that political leadership in this profession is an oxymoron. That it doesn't really exist. It doesn't operate usually based on strong principles and strong stands, and instead is a little bit more expedient and cowers a little bit more. And it's certainly that's going to be a very upsetting thing to a lot of people. What I just said. I'm not saying it for effect. I'm not saying to upset anybody. And like I said, I've been in those positions, so maybe I can maybe be looking in the mirror a little bit myself. But in the end, what this is all about is what my mentor, Dr. Nathaniel Brandon, taught me when he talked about self-responsibility. Is what he said was, nobody's coming to save you.
Right.
And he would repeat that over and over. Workshops. Let me tell you about self-responsibility and the practice of self-responsibility. It means no one is coming to save you. You have to do it yourself. No one is coming to save you. And at one of those workshops, a lady said to him, but Nathaniel, you came. And he said, yes, I came to tell you that no one is coming.
We got the message. We heard your prayers. The answer is no. That's so good. This is a call to arms, Patrick, is what it is, right? So at this point, hey, the general's been shot. He's down.
Listen, I wish the general was shot. They're just AWOL.
Right. There's no air support. You guys are really on the ground here. So, I mean, that's why this book is so critically important, right? So it's like, we've got to do the hard work. We've got to do that inside out process of digging in and finding out exactly where you stand. Because, as you said, we need to operate from a place of certainty, right? So you need to dig your feet in. I love the term you use, rooted. We have to dig in and find that granite below our feet, because we need to have something solid to push off of, because it will be pushing. And that certainty, your attraction is a reflection of your certainty. The tribe that you attract, you better land on that brand and say, okay, so if I'm going to take a bullet, I'm going to take a bullet for this. This is the stand I'm taking, right? And we should not be afraid to be polarizing. We should be terrified of not being polarizing. Because
that's right.
The last thing the world needs right now is somebody who's vanilla and mamby-pamby, right?
Yeah, it's so on the polarizing issue, and I say this sort of flippantly, but the profits are in polarization. But the caveat, if you're trying to be polarizing as an affect as compared to it being a true spiritual purpose, it won't work.
That's right.
Polarization means that, I don't have the desire to want to be polarizing. I am willing to be polarizing to take a stand on what I see as the truth. And if that's going to upset some people, then so be it. But the other side is that the people who are attracted to it now are the ones that will show up in the pandemic to your office. That's the difference. Absolutely. So, with just the quick review of the book is, I'm taking, my 30 plus years as an entrepreneur and in chiropractic. And I think people, this is a popular book. It's a Hay House is the publisher. There's already multiple #1 categories it's had on Amazon, but there's a lot of chiropractic specifically written into the book and identified. So I'm very happy that this is going to go out to a broad audience of entrepreneurs and influencers. And all my metaphors or examples through my life when I'm making the points are chiropractic, because that's where my career is spent. So the idea, though, is taking you through what I call the 5P expansion sequence, which is literally the framework and the model from philosophy just to prosperity. And then philosophy, working through the branches and how to utilize it. That's probably the heaviest lifting in the book, but it's necessary. And then getting into things like finding your Miles Davis, like getting that deepest part of you, all the themes that you already know about, that culminates, though, like the anatomy of a breakthrough. If you need a breakthrough right now, there are literally ways to make that happen, not just hope that it happens. Right. So I have a whole chapter on the anatomy of a breakthrough, but in the end, we get to that Phoenix chapter, which is creative destruction. And right now, that's really what's going to have to be practiced. And rather than resisted, which is the wrong thing, if you get dragged to the edge, kicking and screaming, that's a bad thing. It's a matter of saying, I'm going to take a dive into these flames and I'm going to come out and it's going to be something really magnificent. So the book is, as you can see, you can read it in an afternoon. If you sat and you had it 3 or 4 hours, you'd read the whole book. Yep. But where it will take you and what the journey it will take you on is basically saying, let me take 30 years of success and failures and figure out how to organize it in a way that can be of service to you. So that's really what it does.
Well, I think Einstein said it best. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. So I always get suspicious when I see a big honking book. Right. So, hey, Patrick, you know what? I love you, brother, as a friend and as a man, as a doctor and as a chiropractor and as a leader. So I just appreciate you just on behalf of chiropractic for all you've done for us, what you continue to do for us and for humanity. So I'm a raving fan, and I'm excited to read this book. So I can't wait to get my own signed copy of that. So how do our people get their hands on the book? I'm assuming we'll probably drop a link down below, or what's the best way to get it? Really simple. So first of all, ditto, love you too, and love what you stand for, and I love that you're a 360-degree human being. Yeah, you exude what life success is, not just business success. Thanks. The book, the easiest way is probably you can go to gentempo.com. I have all the Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all the booksellers are there that you can click through. But I have a very special bonus that if you buy the book, once you bought it, you'll get an order number. Put the order number in with your email address, and then we'll be sending you a bonus. I gave a talk which outlined the themes of the book to a group of people at Genius X. They pay $100,000 a year to be a member of this mastermind. You guys don't know how good a deal you have at Remarkable Practice. $100,000 a year to be a member
member of this mastermind, and these people think on certain levels. So it's my presentation, the video, and the question and answer after, which is really interesting. To me, the most informative thing is what kind of questions these people ask, and that tells you a lot about them. And then we also have the audio from that, so you can listen to it, and the transcript if you want to read it. So that's a bonus. So once you buy the book, you can get that bonus, and I think it's really worthwhile thing for you.
Awesome. Well, there's never been a better time to be a chiropractor, especially one that knows where they stand. So I want to make sure everybody reads your stand as your brand. Thanks, Pat. I appreciate you, man. Love you, bro. Happy Easter. And I'll speak to you real soon, I'm sure.
Looking forward to it. And to all you out there, now's the time to show up. I have every confidence in you that you can and will show up. And if you're looking at yourself saying you're not exactly sure how, it's really very simple. You show up just knowing and speaking the principles of this thing called chiropractic. It's all you have to do. The rest will take care of itself.
Amen. Awesome, brother. All right. God bless. See you, buddy.
God bless. Thank you.
Wow. Absolutely incredible. So much gold, so much wisdom, so much great experience from Dr. Gentempo and everything that he's done in building the brands and all the companies he's been a part of, and visibility that you and he have had into so many brands and companies over the years. Doc, hope this was an incredibly powerful and meaningful and timely episode for you. Thanks so much for being a part of the Remarkable CEO podcast. We'll see you on our next episode.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Remarkable CEO podcast. Remember, what the world needs now is chiropractic, and what chiropractic needs now is more successful chiropractors. If you like this podcast, please subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, direct message us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Now go and be remarkable.